Hey guys, Legendary Grimlock here, and Wong's survival video had to be changed simply because the Let's Go Jungle gameplay and the content for it is very short here, and I like to make my stuff as detailed and as packed as possible. So we're gonna give her Dead Island Riptide, the second hardest, definitely the second hardest zombie game, or at least in the Dead Island franchise. Not sure about Dead Island 2 just yet, but yeah, I think you guys should be able to get it right. Now, Wong's scaling should easily scale to characters like like Leon. And again, if you guys don't remember my Leon scaling for the last video, here it is, right? So Leon would easily be able to scale to characters, or at least scale to the Ganondoses from Resident Evil 4. Now, the Resident Evil 4 Ganondoses were able to move these large boulders like they were nothing more than kind of insignificant to them. Even if it took two of them, Leon has been able to take out hordes of them. So even if you want to say there are like 20 of them, two of them would equal a large boulder. So that's at least 10 large boulders that would be that Leon would be able to take out. And again, Ada does scale to this. Now, in terms of like the higher ends for like Chris Redfield being able to punch these kind of boulders, you do have to remember Chris is considered a super soldier in the Resident Evil franchise. Like he's essentially Captain America of that joint, right? So I do think it is considered she does scale to like the lower ends of both Chris's and Leon's feats of how they're able to elbow and even punch through like Ganondoses and stuff. So she easily should be superhuman or in some cases super soldier level. And again, she does have her own game where she's been able to maneuver around laser fields, dodge bullets, and again, she should also scale to the Ganondoses who can dodge bullets pretty easily. And she also has her own weapon. She has a pistol. She sometimes carries an AK-47, an M16. I do think one of her signature weapons, and I think the Resident Evil's franchise's favorites, right, is the crossbow. It's a crossbow. She's able to use the crossbow, and she's actually dealt with cities full of these Ganondoses. Like, she's actually dealt with multiple Ganondoses here. So, I do think she does well when it comes to Dead Island Riptide. Now, you might say, well, I'll do the same thing for Leon. I would probably say no, because you see, Ada is a bit more, what's the word I'm looking for, colder than Leon. You see, she's more on her own agenda or the agenda of her company rather than Leon, who's actually doing his job of just being a good soldier and just getting Ashley out, destroying the corporation, and then leaving. Because again, if he just got Ashley, he probably would have just left them to their own devices, right? But in this situation here, Ada would probably be going and looking for the mutagen. I do see her probably working with someone like Dr. Kessler in order to get where she needs to go, and would more than likely just help him out here. And considering the sheer fact that most of these zombies or most of the infected here are fresh, I do think she's going to struggle greatly because it's just very simply a much more early infection than the original Dead Island, than the first one. I mean, the first Dead Island, you actually play Ryder White's campaign, right? That's when the infection first starts. That's why it's so difficult. The infection, it's still fresh. You don't see too many walkers or suiciders or butchers, rams, and thugs. You don't see all those just yet because the infection is still fresh. It just started. Now, again, for Dead Island Riptide, the infection is probably just, let's say, around maybe like 2 or 3 weeks old. That's probably it. And again, when you play the game, you're dealing with more infected and the frenzied infected, which are the freshest of the infected. Those who probably just became infected, are just starting to decay. And again, the mutagen can mutate them higher. Now, in terms of like character interactions, I do think Ada would have killed Harlow when she like leaves the team and she like sneaks into like the base location. Yeah, I do think she would have killed Harlow. There's no if and or buts about it, because she would be interfering with her mission and stuff like that. And again, Ada will dispose of you like in a heartbeat. Like there's no if and or buts about it. Even if you want to say, oh well, Harlow might be just a little bit stronger because she took like double shot of mutagen and stuff. Okay, that's fine. But again, even if they're like mutagen up and raged up here, um, Ada is still capable of doing the same things that Leon did, or at least the lower end feats of what Leon and Chris are doing, which are like punching through people. Now you can say again that the humans, or at least the immune from Dead Island, are a lot stronger than the lower ends. That's fine. You could simply scale Ada to the higher end. Now, again, realistically, Ada would just do what her job is sent there for and leave. It's very possible that she might kill Dr. Kessler just to make sure none of this information gets out. Or maybe just leave him there, because, again, he doesn't really have a way to escape off the island. Now, again, you might say, oh, would she help the immune, or would she be interested in the immune? It's very possible that she could be. I mean, the sheer fact that these guys are immune to the zombie infection, or at least, have some resistance to it, to the point where they don't become like the rest of the zombies. However, they do get like this incredible rage boost when it happens, like to the point where they could dog walk the strongest zombies in the game, like screamers, wrestlers, and thugs. Also like infected scientist chiefs, which, by the way, are actually pretty dangerous. I don't think I covered him in the last part, because the infected scientist chief is able to rip his own flesh off and throw it at you and cause like this toxic effect or whatever. But again, he's able to damage you with his own flesh, which is gross and weird. It is what it is here. Now, again, if Ada does decide to take an interest, or if she's working with Serpo, now we're getting to the narrative perspective of this. From a narrative perspective, I do think she would probably be something like Serpo's bodyguard, or maybe just working with Serpo to, I guess you could say, get the blood of the immune. And again, do I think she would succeed in this? It depends here. Because again, the shady corporation that Serpo works for barely even cared about him. Barely. They did enough just to get him off that boat, and then later on that island. They at least tried to get them off the island because they wanted something from them. Now, again, I do think Ada would be able to possibly convince the immune that they are more valuable than they think here. I do think she would help them throughout a lot of the activities there. And again, do I think she would betray them like Harlow? In all honesty, I don't think she would, because she would probably be more focused on the mission of that they are needed here. But again, do I think she would trust her company to get them out? It's very iffy. Again, she has been able to rely on them before, so in this situation, I don't think it should be any different. I do think that she will have to complete and get the mutagen, and then explain to them that, hey, look, I just need this stuff because my company or my boss needs it. And I do think some of them would understand, but I also think it's very possible that being on the island with them for like, in all honesty, the island really doesn't, Dead Island really doesn't have a time lapse. We say it's in a day, but again, doing all that stuff and not resting, and again, people are human, I do think it does take a couple days, maybe a week at max here. So she has pretty much a week just to kind of like spend time with them and then get to know them. I do think one of the few people she might actually be able to, or might be able to convince her, are Zian, who was a former cop, or John, who was a former soldier that was betrayed by the same corporation because he was immune. So, at the end of the day here, do I think Ada Wong clears it? Yes. By herself and just only getting her own thing done, I just think that she does it with high difficulty. However, if she does rely on the immune and use them at least to get her goals done, I think she clears it pretty easily. So anyway, yeah, this was Ada Wong. She would definitely be able to survive the first island pretty easily, and definitely complete her mission. I think she would probably be able to get a actual cure and maybe the super virus, and probably just dip off the island, in all honesty. But in Riptide, I think she struggles a lot more because the infection is just fresh. But hey, that's going to be all for today, you guys. Please comment down below, like and subscribe, and share with your friends. This is Legendary Grimlock, and I hope you guys have a nice day. Peace.